for 10 seconds in his final title match.
Welcome to the arena, fans. This is All Breaker Buzz, your ringside pass to everything WWE. Stay tuned, subscribe, and let's rumble. The lights drop. The arena freezes like time itself just stopped. Then that sound hits. The unmistakable roar that makes every fan jump out of their seat. Seth freaking Rollins is back. Months after surgery, silence, and uncertainty, he walks out not with a grin, but with purpose in his eyes. No laughter, no games, just pure intensity. And before the cheers could settle, Rollins walked backstage, stood face-to-face with Paul Heyman, and promised to destroy everything he built. This wasn't just a return. It was a declaration of war. The night the arena stopped breathing. SmackDown had been electric all night. Booming chants, flashing lights, and fans already buzzing from earlier matches. But then, everything changed in an instant. The opening riff of Seth Rollins' theme hit, and the entire arena came alive like a lightning bolt struck the floor. For months, fans had only heard rumors about his recovery, his silence, his absence. And now he stood in front of them, sharper, stronger, and completely different. There were no flamboyant suits, no exaggerated laughter, and no dancing. Every step he took told a story of pain, healing, and purpose. A silent storm in motion. Rollins didn't need to grab a microphone to make an impact. His presence said everything. His jaw was set, his eyes burned with intensity, and his walk was that of a man who had already decided what came next. You could feel it in the air. Something about him had shifted. He wasn't here for fanfare or nostalgia. This was about unfinished business. The fans cheered wildly, but Seth's face didn't change. It wasn't about the noise outside anymore. It was about the fire inside. The backstage confrontation that shook WWE. Moments after leaving the ring, the cameras caught Rollins storming through the backstage corridors. His boots echoed off the concrete. Staff members, referees, even security stepped out of his way. There was something raw and unpredictable about him. Then, in the middle of the hallway, Paul Heyman appeared, alone. No Roman Reigns, no allies, just Heyman and his usual confidence. But this time, that confidence cracked. Rollins stopped inches away, and for a few seconds, neither man spoke. You could hear Rollins' breath through the silence. The rebirth of Seth Rollins. What we saw wasn't just a return, it was a transformation. Seth Rollins didn't come back to reclaim a title or relive old glory. He came back to dismantle a legacy built on control and deceit. The fans had seen him rise, fall, and reinvent himself countless times. But this version, calm, dangerous, and laser-focused, felt like the final form of a man who's had enough. Gone was the flashy messiah. Gone was the eccentric showman. This was the warrior stripped down to his essence. All purpose, no pretense. Heyman's fear changes the power. Game Paul. Heyman rarely shows fear. For decades, he's been the mastermind pulling strings behind champions, from Brock Lesnar to Roman Reigns. But tonight, that mask cracked. Rollins calling him out not only exposed Heyman's manipulation, but also changed the power dynamics of WWE. For the first time in years, Heyman didn't have control. He didn't have protection, and that's a dangerous position for a man who built his empire on influence. The look in his eyes wasn't performance. It was survival. The Roman Reigns factor. Then came the bombshell. Rollins mentioning Roman Reigns. That one name sent shockwaves across the WWE Universe. Rollins didn't just call out Heyman, he invoked the tribal chief himself. And that opened two possible paths. Either Roman returns to defend Heyman's name, or he returns to confront the truth Rollins just exposed. Both options lead to chaos. Imagine Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins facing off again, their history reigniting under a new fire. Or imagine them standing on the same side, united by revenge against Heyman. Either way, the bloodline of power is about to shift again. The calm before the storm. As SmackDown rolled on, cameras cut back to the ring, but nobody was paying attention. Fans were glued to their phones, to the replay, to the social media explosion that followed. Number sign, Seth says it, and number sign, destroy the Vision trended within minutes. And then chaos returned. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, Heyman's newest enforcers, stormed the ramp looking for Seth. But he was already gone. He had vanished backstage, leaving only one thing behind, the feeling that this was just the beginning. The emotion. Driving the story. At the heart of this feud lies something deeper than wrestling. It's about betrayal, pain, and justice. Fans watched Seth suffer through surgery and recovery, while Heyman's empire flourished. Now, Rollins' return feels like emotional revenge. Not in a cruel way, but in a righteous one. Everyone who's ever been underestimated or forgotten can feel that energy. When Rollins said he would destroy Heyman's vision, it wasn't just about titles or factions. It was about reclaiming power from someone who abused it. The heart of the war. This story isn't about who holds the belt. It's about who defines the future of WWE. Heyman represents control. Manipulation behind the scenes. Rollins represents rebellion. The man who refuses to bow anymore. And Roman? He's the balance. The king who could either stabilize or shatter everything. The fans feel it too. Every crowd cheer, every chant, every social media post shows that people are invested because it feels real. It's about pride, pain, and power. The beginning of a new era, Seth Rollins' return marks a new era for WWE storytelling. Raw, personal, and unpredictable. It's not about gimmicks or slogans anymore. It's about emotion and intent. His silence before the storm, the confrontation with Heyman, the unspoken tension with Roman, all of it paints a picture of a man reborn through pain. When Rollins said he'd destroy Heyman's vision, he didn't mean chaos for chaos's sake. He meant clarity, honesty, accountability. It's the kind of arc that turns superstars into legends and storylines into history. Closing. The fire still burns. As the credits rolled and the night ended, one thing was clear. WWE hasn't just brought back Seth Rollins. It's brought back the fire that makes wrestling magic. The fans could feel it, the locker room could sense it, and even Heyman, hiding somewhere behind the cameras, knew it. The storm is coming. The vision will fall. And Seth Rollins, no longer the Messiah, no longer the showman, will be the one standing when the ashes settle.